Hey everyone, we are live. We are live. This is a very spontaneous live, but a very important one. This is Jedi Mike 7 Movie News Show. I'm your host, Jedi Mike 7, with a special guest.
Hi guys, this is Tamika.
And this is my wife, Tamika, and we're here to discuss the film American Fiction, which is, to me, I believe is the best film of the year, and definitely will be up for nomination for Best Picture next year, going to 2024. Also, happy New Year's Eve to everybody. Hope everyone's safe with their loved ones and stuff. But I didn't want to go by this year and while discussing this film. So, American Fiction. So, let's talk about it. So, the synopsis of the film starts with the character Monk. Monk is a frustrated novelist who's fed up with the establishment that profits from the black entertainment that relays on the tired and inoffensive tropes. To prove his point, he used a pen name to write an outlandish black book of his own, and a book that propels him to the heart of hypocrisy and the madness he claims to disdain. Now, this film stars Jeffrey Wright, Sterling K. Brown, Tracy Ellis Ross, and Issa Rae. So a lot of heavy hitters in this film. Um, First off, I just wanted to give my thoughts again. To me, I feel is the best film of the year in my opinion. All of them because it's not only sparked conversations, but because of the fact that this film definitely was kind of brushed under the rug for a lot of people. I think people will be noticing the importance of this film in the coming months when it be nominations be coming out, especially for definitely Jeffrey Wright for Best Actor. But I just want to ask my wife Tamika, what did you think about the film?
I believe that the film was really good. Overall, I think that the message was very clear. I thought it was funny. I find myself at times being super frustrated with how like we all recognize some problems, but still we all still feed into the same monster. Um, it was very frustrating, like towards the end of the film, especially how they decided to choose to end the film. Was kind of interesting and just a telltale sign that many of the things that we speak about as black people amongst each other, especially when you're educated and you can see the dilemmas of how this world operates, how it is portrayed so well in this film. I really appreciate it. It kind of put words and images to the frustration and things that you feel internally about some of the images that are pushed out here for black people. And so I really do appreciate it. It was a great film. I would definitely recommend other people to go take the time to review the film, watch it, and spark conversations. I think that what pushed Michael and I to get on the mic today was because I was so passionate, yeah. I was so passionate about the film and really was like, babe, but did you see? And he's like, oh my gosh, and so
Mhm.
it was really that good. And so yeah, thought it was great.
Yeah, I want to kind of talk about the basis of the film. As I said in the synopsis, that basically the character Monk, played by Jeffrey Wright, he's a writer, a novelist, and basically he's been told by his publishers and people around him, basically saying that his books are not black enough, but he's a black author. Now, there's other conversations that spark in this film because you have other characters such as Issa Rae, who is also another novelist, but she's basically become very successful because her books becoming more popular, but they are going into the tropes of being more stereotypical amongst black people in the culture. And you're seeing what the more profound thing that you're seeing how the white media is responding to it and giving it so much praise because they're seeing it as some type of understanding a different language from the African American experience, even though we've been down this trope for many, many years, to the point to become a stereotype, and which characters like Jeffrey Wright's character Monk, who's an author, he's saying he's frustrated with it. Yes, he's a black author, but he doesn't write black stories because he's just writing stories in his opinion. And so he's getting frustrated that none of his stuff is getting published. So out of a joke, he just made the most stereotypical offensive story you can think of, and all of a sudden he's getting a bunch of praise, movie deals and offerings and stuff. But the caveat is that he's going under a different alias and not his own identity. and basically kind of seeing, how people in really white media is responding to this, and with so much praise and admiration, but then yet he's frustrated, like, why is this the definition of what blackness is, or black art in terms of our culture? So but yeah, and this is what this conversation that you see in the thumbnail, which is the blackness versus woke Hollywood, because as you see in the trailer, as you see in marking this film, that you're seeing a lot of the white characters responding to uh uh the blackness in terms of these stories and seeing it such as markable, but they wanted to see the ghetto, the stereotype, the Pookie Ray Ray story, fatherless America, guns, slinging, drugs, all that stuff, and they're saying that's markable instead of just writing a decent story. And there was a conversation between Jeffrey Wright character and Issa Rae about the definition of what blackness, what a definition of black art is, because she's basically getting profit off of this almost satire, as you will. And she's confused that why that this book is getting nominated for best writing awards and everything like that. But Monk is like, well, you're getting so much praise for your book, and your book is no different than the one I made as a joke. And she's blinded in this scene, having a conversation back and forth about, wait, my book is valid because I'm actually using other people's experience that I interviewed. And he's saying that not the fact that these stereotypes in our community exist, but he's just saying that, no, Black America is more than just this. So I want to ask you, like, what is your, some of the things that you got kind of frustrated just watching in this film, but one thing, some of the things you can relate to.
So in particular with the conversation that happened between these two characters, I really found it interesting that Issa Rae could not understand how her book was just as relatable as Monk's book. And I think for me, because she said that the book that Monk wrote was soulless, is the word that she used. And her book, she did so much research and she did interviews with people. And I think that the hard conversation is for Black people is that we're not discounting the hood, ghetto, get it out the mud stories. We're just saying that there's more stories to be told than that. And I think that just watching the movie in totality, like, we're dealing with a successful Black family, but the heart of it is they're sick. The main character's father blew his brains out. You know what I'm saying? Because he was sick. You know what I'm saying? Their mother, now later in age, she's dealing with early set of Alzheimer's.
Also, Alzheimer's.
Yeah, and so that's a story within itself. His sister, there was so much going on in this film, while there was a dialogue about how Blacks are comfortable with coming up on these traditional stereotypical stories, while also you got the main character saying that this is a joke, right? Like, are we being serious right now that you would rather publish and give accolades to the lowest levels of our images versus something that I can produce that's intellectually thought-provoking, something that can bring something new to the table? Like, I have more to offer than just to give you a Pookie and a Ray Ray story from the hood. In fact, this young man has never even lived that lifestyle, hence why he had to use a whole alias to present this story to, white America as, okay, so y'all don't want anything that I give you intellectually, so let me give you something that's not. And the fact that they were giving this man like $750,000 for a book, and then he got a movie off the book that he wrote as a joke, y'all, it's crazy. And it's just interesting to see how they were able to put this in a film where we can now have the conversation. And I think that what I wanted to bring to my husband at the time was like, listen, if we really want to see change within our community and things of that nature, we got to start having these conversations behind closed doors. Like, it's one thing to get it out there and to see what other people think, but we got to start talking about what it is that we value and what it is that we want to see more in the future for our families, for our children, for ourselves. Every time that I look at a screen, every time that I see another sister on the screen, I see myself. You know what I'm saying? And so, do I continuously want to see a perpetual image of myself in the lowest form, or can we start to work towards presenting better images of ourselves? I think there can be duality. I think there can be a balance, because I don't want to take away from those stories, but those aren't the other stories. And I know for anybody listening right now, that ain't your story either. Let's be for real about it. That's not my story. That's not Mike's story. That's not your story. So why aren't we telling the real stories? And why aren't we investing our dollars, our creativity, and our platforms to discuss what's really going on? You know what I'm saying? That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, because in this film there was a lot of things again that was like very I was shaking my head on with, but uh as someone who like for me, when we get told that growing up that you talk white or you know and I fit into the black stereotype and stuff. But now we're getting to a new age. It's like, okay, what is just, it's just like reverse racism in a way, where it's like, okay, well, you got to be a certain type to be part of the culture. But I'm like, well, okay, I understand that part exists, but we're more than that. If if us trying to combat that culture, that stereotype, um, as black people, but then to only call, hey, well, it ain't black because you're trying to be white. I'm like, so you're telling me the only way I can be uh non stereotypical is to be white? Because again, he's and there's one scene in this film that I found very powerful. It just the dialogue in this film was great. It was this scene right here was that he's an author, he's a publisher and everything, right? But he doesn't write black stories, even though he's a black author, right? And he goes into a bookstore and he says, "Hey, can you find a book for this author?" And he didn't tell the bookkeeper who his name was, right? And then he looked and found his book in this section, and it says African American Studies. And he says, "Why is this book there?" And it's like, "Well, this is made by a black author." But yeah, but it's not a black book. The blackest thing in that book is the ink. That's what he said. So I was like, and I did kind of relate to it. It's like, okay, so everything that a black author put just in the African American section, why can't it just be with the white books? If they're not talking about white stories, they're just talking about stories in general. And he had the whole thing where he was taking all of his books and trying to put in a different section. But yet here you have Issa Rae's character. Her Sorry, 1 second. I had technical difficulty there. 1 second. 1 second. There we go. All right, we're good. No, we're good. Sorry about that. But yeah, but Issa Rae's book, it becomes very popular because she has her own section, and literally this scene right here, you can see in the trailer, is basically dialogue that she's reading, and she said, "Yo, Sharonda, yo, what's up? Yo, oh hell nah, damn." All the stereotypical cues we've seen in movies, for years and stuff. So it was
It's Blackanese.
it's Blackanese. That's
Oh
what I
my
heard.
gosh, I done nailed the Blackanese, honey. But I agree. Like, I really appreciate the conversation that took place in this film. I even appreciate towards the ending, which really just frustrated the crap out of me. I think that we all have seen since 2020 that the notion of, our black men are better dead, more valuable dead than alive, via how we can socially organize movements around the death of black bodies, black male bodies, and still, want to have debates online about who's the better sex. Like, I don't get it. It's really confusing. But in this film, the main character had the opportunity to write the ending of this hood story that he was telling. And obviously, we all know the better way to end the story is police brutality. and
Right.
and this man ends up dying at the end of the story. And so mind y'all, he's writing a book, and this book is now being produced as a film. And so in the film, as he's finishing the last chapter of the book and how it ends with the black man dying, they're getting in their car. The main actor, Monk, is getting in his car, and he's watching the actors who will now play the roles in which he wrote. And it's just kind of another nod to that, though we hate the images we see about us, we are the main ones writing the stories, producing the stories, acting in these stories. You know, we are contributing to our own demise, our own image demise. And so I don't know. I guess the question is like, when is enough enough? You know what I'm saying? Like, when are we gonna like say, okay, I'm done with listening and hearing these images or seeing these images about who I am as a black American or as a black person in America versus, well, it's feeding me, you know, it's paying my bills, you know, it's taking care of what it needs to be taken care of. And so I don't know. I think it's a definite constant battle. And you know, one of the questions that were presented to the actors in this film was, okay, so now that we've gotten a film produced that is pretty much talking about a critical point in Black America about how many of us are honestly fed up with the images that are being portrayed of us, what's next? Like, do you think this is actually going to change something? Like, what do you guys think is going to come of this? And the character Monk pretty much said, like, I think that it's powerful enough that this movie even got the green light. You know what I'm saying? It was powerful enough that somebody in Hollywood thought that this book or this story was good enough for us to put dollar signs behind the production of this film. And so I think that this is now going to be the new conversation going forward of what does it look like to support Black people with different stories? What does it look like to support the different stories that we are not used to, that mainstream media is not used to? Mind you, we got this film out with Color Purple on the scene right now.
Right, which that's gonna be the next question. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, go ahead, Mike. You got
Yes.
it.
So I put I will be doing we'll probably do another discussion. We could do it tomorrow possibly. For talking about the color purple, but uh as you see here in this image right here, there's a lot of stereotypes that we see in Black films, such as 12 Years a Slave, Boondocks, Harriet, talking about slavery, racism, Black struggle and stuff, right? But as Black Americans getting sick of it, even though we're the ones actually feeding it. There was a he said I stopped watching certain movies because I don't like going backwards, portraying us as future astronauts or something. That's true. No, because there was actually a analogy that was in this film that by was it the character's Monk, his publisher, and he said basically about these three bottles of alcohol, right? There's the basic, there's a medium, then it's the premium, right? The premium costs like $150, whatever. The other two cost about 20 or $50, right? But the difference is that only a select few people will watch, or would buy the premium alcohol, even though that's the best one. But the problem is that the $20 and $50 bottle of alcohol is easier to digest, which is why that's one is the most selling. And what he's saying is that uh, even though that the $20 and the $50 bottle of alcohol is shit, and the premium one is a premium, nobody's buying the premium, because everyone's just gonna buy the basic uh undervalued one because it's easier to digest. It's the same thing with content, like films like this, for example. A lot of people, this movie's not going to make $1 billion in the box office or anything. And most people didn't even know this film is coming out, or even know this film even exists. But yeah, everybody know what Power is. Everybody know what Boondocks is. Everybody know, so there's a lot of hypocrisy. We're saying we want better stories of us as Black people, not being a monolith and showing us just being regular people. Okay, good. You're not buying it. You're not buying it.
Yeah, and I think that the conversation was also spoken about, like, we we are sick. We are sick because we say one thing, but then we do another thing. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to bring up the fact that, in Hollywood right now, we just got the re-release, the musical release of Color Purple. And we also got this film out right now. Color Purple is something we've already seen. We've already seen the depiction of the black woman turning against the black man. She fed up because Master keep beating her. We've seen that storylines told several times over. But what we have in the mainstream media right now is Taraji P. Henson crying to America, telling us that she's not making what she's worth. And this is not the first time that we've heard a black woman or an actress come forth and, make complaints about them not getting paid what they believe they deserve based off of the films and things they produce. And we have this movie. What is it? American Fiction. We have American Fiction depicting the problems with the supporting these black films that produces a low level image of the black community, yet you're participating in the demise and the destructions, and you still not getting paid what you worth. That's crazy to me. And then you want us as regular people to support you in your what? I don't know. I don't even know the words to describe it, but I think it's very ironic that our sister is going through this. However, do I feel bad for her? No, because Cookie Lion, not Orange is the New Black. Well, old girl did play
Empire.
Orange is the New Black. Empire. She played in so many other films. Taraji herself played in so many other films that didn't necessarily put the black community in the most positive light. And so
But here the thing, I play devil's advocate here.
I don't like anybody that plays the devil's
Okay,
advocate.
I understand. But here's the thing: is that if you look at Jeffrey Wright character, or the actor himself, um, he he actually was in many different roles before he now been typecast as a intellectual black man in film and TV. He's in Hunger Games. He was one of the tributes who outsmarted everybody, but he was an intellectual black male character, right?
Yes,
But
so you're saying Taraji is typecast.
no. What I'm saying is that that's what he had to get to now, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the earlier stage of his career, and I'm trying to find the image right here. Jeffrey Wright played a gangster, right? Because that was the only film or roles that was offered to him to get into this industry at that time, and so it's not the fact that these people did not want to play these typecast, characters. In fact, that's what they were offered, and that's what I feel. Yes, he did. I just posted an interview, by the way. I interviewed both Sterling K. Brown and Jeffrey Wright on my channel about an hour ago. Make sure you guys check that out. But yeah, no, Westworld, great.
Yeah, he did a really good job in Westworld.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that he started out as a
thug,
in stereotypical character in a TV show, I believe. Right, he had to do that because that was the role that was offered to him, and so when the argument saying, well, now, okay, I understand back then, but now, you're still playing these typecast characters, and we're still not feeling sympathy for you because what the career choices are you taking? Because there's only a handful of black actors right now that have the freedom to now choose the roles they want, like a Zendaya, like a Denzel Washington, but then he had to get through being a corrupt cop, and not get nominated for him playing just a father in Fences. He had to be a freaking slave or slave person during the what was it, World War II, whatever, American Revolution, whatever it was, right? I forgot the name of that movie. Glory, whatever was it called, Glory? That's what he was nominated for. He's nominated for 2. I think he won 2 for Training Day and for I think it was Glory, where it was a scene based on him basically getting whipped. Denzel Washington, right? But now Denzel Washington could just play, regular character, but yet he didn't win an Oscar for him playing a political figure, not for Malcolm X or nothing like that, not for him just playing just a regular father in Fences. and they gave it to another white male actor, Casey Affleck, for him to play a dude dealing with mental illness. That's it. You know, Halle Berry, Halle Berry, not Halle Bailey. Halle Berry, she's literally getting screwed by a white dude and getting and win Best Actress in the Academy Awards. Her movie, Butt Naked. Yeah. Lupita Nyong'o get whipped and be in, and get raped by raped by Michael Fassbender in 12 Years a Slave, and she wins Best Actress.
Yeah, and I think that the movie American Fiction speaks to how these Black films and these certain images and typecasts do get awards at the end of the day. This man's book that was very stereotypical, he did it as a joke to prove something to, to the publishing companies. And this man won an award for a book that was a joke, and so it's like, are we really getting praise and accolades as Black people that produce content, that produce art for mediocrity, for stereotypes? I mean, we see it in our rap community, we see it in our music industry, we see it in, just content creation online right now. We see it when I think people are being pretty much incentivized to produce and show the lowest level of ourselves for other people to consume. And we've merely just focused in this conversation about Blackness versus Hollywood, about Blackness. But it's a whole nother conversation to talk about how white people ingest the art in which we create for them to say yay or nay to. And that was touched on in this film. That's another conversation for another time. We just wanted to focus our conversation on how we as Black people are witnessing the cycle. It's really a cycle that is happening in the creation, the attention, and what we are seeing on the inside amongst ourselves. Like, okay, we're tired of this, we're tired of seeing this, but we'll still go consume this stuff. There's plenty of people who's went and watched The Color Purple this weekend, even though we didn't like the first or the second or the third renditions of this film. You know what I'm saying? Immediately once American Fiction came on and Mike showed me the film, I was like, niggas ain't about to go see this film. That was the first thing I said after like 3 minutes into the film. I was like, nobody's about to watch this. It was good, but nobody's about to spend their time. Nobody in mass droves are about to spend their time watching stuff like this. And so, but I think it's important for us to still have these conversations, because people may not go see this film, but it's still a conversation that we need to have amongst each other. And so I think that it just ignited me within thyself to recognize that my story is different than the typical stereotypical Black story, and it's valuable and entertaining and digestible and something that can present a different light of Black people. And I think that other people can relate to that more too.
Yeah, and again, this film, and I'll do another review about this because it goes into the other interpersonal relationships in that Black family. I mean, definitely with the brother being gay and losing his wife, and children and stuff, but also he just going downhill. Definitely with the mother dealing with the Alzheimer's and everything, and but a whole family of doctors who have their own maid, so it's like as unstereotypical as you can be. This family had a lot of things going for itself. Again, it's just a human story, and I encourage people. It's on Amazon. You guys can Amazon Prime. You guys can go check it out right now. It's currently streaming there. But I encourage people to go watch this film. Mainly because again, it breaks the narrative. But for me, I think it was the most thought-provoking film I've seen this year. And hopefully, as we get into award season, definitely can be recognized, and this is going to be on people's radar. But again, I encourage people to actually watch this film to spark the conversation in your own household. Because again, I understand Color Purple is out here right now, and I'll do another discussion because that was actually my first review I ever did on my channel. Yeah. And even though I thought that, it was a decent film, there were some things obviously, kind of going through the motions of it. But as a film that has impact, I feel like American Fiction is a much more simpler film, but a conversation you can have with your loved ones, with your children, especially because this shows you the aftermath of childhood trauma that's unaddressed, in a black family. And you see with siblings and stuff like that. But also just people making career choices, and as an African American, yeah, we there's white people in here, as stereotypical as you can be, stuff, and this film is very funny, I feel, but it's also sad humor too, because it's like I'm laughing at it because that's relatable, but it's sad because it's true.
Yeah.
Not because they're trying to make a joke or something. There's comedy in here, but it's kind of like satire in a bit because like it's true. And yeah, but I just want to make sure if you have anything else left. I don't even say, sweetheart.
I just want to say thank you, honey, for inviting me on your show. I really enjoyed this film. And hopefully, in this new year, you and I can co collaborate on some more videos.
Yes. Thank you, everybody who's tuned in. If you're watching live or in the pre-recording, also make sure please give us some feedback if you guys enjoyed, the type of format and content we had off camera. As we can be just, as much as we try and push more content going in the new year on a road to 1,000. Again, we thank you guys for your support in the new year. Happy New Year's Eve to everybody, and hope everyone have a blessed day. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, be kind to one another. All right, goodbye.